You need to communicate. You didn't tell us that you were dropping us. All of us were dropped, and we're like, well, what the hell are we gonna do? You cheat. You were a serial cheater. And one day, there's gonna be nobody there for you, and I'm gonna be standing there like, I told you this was gonna happen, and you didn't listen. Hi, I have a tightness in my leg. My name is Kayla, and we are here to end the toxic friendship series. You probably thought that apricot was the end of it. That's how it was originally, but then I remembered my sister over here, who I can get to, did have a pretty toxic friendship. So you're gonna be nice, or I'm gonna stab you with my pen, as she talks about her toxic friendship, which I know some things, but I was like middle school at the time, so I didn't really grasp everything. I just grasped mean girl was mean and made sister sad. That's all that I grasped. And I need my phone for the end of this, but okay. We are going to go. Is my phone silenced? Good. Okay. So we're going to start because, yeah, it's time when I listen, and this is how I get my therapist practice. So I'll have her take it away.
Beautiful. Now, before I start, I have to give a little background on how we're friends, and that's due to a band. I went to a concert of the band All-Star Weekend in 2010 because they were giving out, for their tour, for their first album, they were giving out free tickets to schools, like for the newspaper, or if you, like, whatever your writing club was in school, whether it was like a newspaper or online newspaper or whatever your school did, they gave tickets out and bookmarks and such out to those, like, teachers at the school. And my friend, she wasn't on the newspaper anymore. She was only on it 1 year. But she was close with the teacher who ran the newspaper, and the teacher asked her if she wanted to go to the concert, and there were 2 tickets, so she asked me if I wanted to go, and I said, sure, that sounded fun. It was like the week of Thanksgiving, that Monday, so Thanksgiving break started that Wednesday, so it wasn't like there was a lot going on. So I went to it. We missed the interview because the coordinators at the show didn't know where to send us. So we missed it, along with another 2 girls who had the same issue. But we got to see the opening bands, and they were pretty good. Well, I only remember 2 of them. But they were good. And then All-Star Weekend was really good, and so I became a quick fan of theirs. So that was my senior year of high school. So after that, the summer I graduated and into college, I started getting really into the fan base online, because that was when Facebook was really big and Twitter had just started, like, taking off. So I was really big on Facebook, and I would look on Twitter, but I didn't have one until later in 2011. But so it was like I was really into the fan base and, like, fan pages, and so I found one fan page, and this was like 2011 probably. It was 2011, like late 2011, like more into while I was in college, more so than before I started. But very into different fan pages, talking to people on fan pages, and just having, like, a good time. And so I started talking to the girl in this one fan page, and we, like, started talking a lot and, like, got really close and everything like that. So then we just became Facebook friends and started messaging each other, because that was easier than, going public conversation on posts and all that stuff. And so we got real close, and we started texting each other after she visited her grandparents in Florida because she didn't have access to Facebook there and she missed talking to me, so we just decided. And I had just gotten, actually, no, I hadn't gotten my better phone yet. I was still on my flip phone. But, so we started talking that way because it was a lot easier than messaging because you would need to have internet access because this was kind of, sort of before data kind of existed, but, you know, however that works. But, so we became friends, and I found out that she was a huge fan of Demi Lovato and, like, really related to her. And this was the time around when she released her, what's it called? Unbroken album, the one that had, like, Skyscraper and all that on it. That album had come out, like, the fall of 2011. I remember because I just started college, and they had in the college newspaper, like, in the music section, they were talking about albums that came out, and that was one of them that came out. And so she ended up getting a shoulder tattoo with warrior lyrics in the shape of a heart on, I think, her right shoulder, and she was very proud of that. She wanted to get it in a different spot, in a different place, different size, but it wouldn't work, so she had to get it bigger and on her shoulder than where she originally wanted it. And I remember the tattoo artist kind of like making fun of her for it. But anyway, so we referred to ourselves as Selena and Demi because we saw our relationship as close as theirs, even though we had never met in person. Also, the girl versions of Zach and Cameron, who were from that band All Star Weekend, because she liked Zach and I liked Cameron, and so it worked. So we were the closest with each other. We had other fandom friends, but we talked mostly to each other online. At one point in 2012, like around the summer, maybe before that, a girl who owned another fan page made a big group for All-Star Weekend and other bands that you would find through All-Star Weekend. Made a huge group, and we were both a part of that. And so I met friends through that. But we were mostly just really, really close with each other. And so...
I think I'm a part of that group.
You might be. But it doesn't matter too much because most of the people from that group don't even talk to me anymore. I'm still friends with them on Facebook, but we don't talk anymore except for two people.
I didn't really talk to any of them to begin with. I think Rachel just told me to join the group because I was on Facebook.
Anyway, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to look at the date on this. So, at some point in 2013, it says like October, and since this is near the end of the Word document I had, that sounds about right. At the end of 2013, she had sent me something from a book. Oh, yeah. Yeah, she sent me something from a book she was reading, and I don't know if it was like a textbook or if it was like one of those like nonfiction like self-help books or what it was, but it had a little like scenario with the title, How Many Friends? And so the scenario is Sarah is a person who wants only one friend at a time. She chose Beth. They were great friends until Beth started going out with Jim. It devastated Sarah because Beth was spending time with Jim instead of her. Exclusive friendships are not wise. They can be hurtful and unhealthy because they do not allow each to widen their friendships and broaden their horizons. Though you may have a best friend, be sure to include others in your circle of friends. When you sense a friendship is becoming exclusive, it is wise to avoid the trap even if the other person is upset. So basically, I had friends a lot. I had a couple friends in real life, a couple that I went to concerts with together, and then I had some fandom friends online. And so we considered each other best friends. I mean, I also had another set of best friends, but she was one of the ones that I considered my best friends. And so I sent something to her in response. I don't have my responses because I just saved them in a Word document, but I have hers. And she was like, we've passed the exclusive point. It's too late to go back. And I didn't even know that was an actual problem. And at the time, I think I agreed because I didn't see why having, like, you know, a really close friend is something bad. I wasn't really focusing on the beginning of that. I was focusing more on the end of it. Like, why would that be bad to have, like, a really close friend? Because she said it's like acting like having a best friend is bad. And she said, I just think that since we both have that same issue, it makes the friendship stronger and kind of like safe, because we know how it feels to be left, so we wouldn't do that to each other, which is a big part of why we work. So I, you know, shrugged it off, because I'm like, you know, whatever, it doesn't seem like a big deal. I mean, hindsight is like 2020, but like at that point it didn't seem like a big deal, even though it meets those requirements a lot in different terms. So around the end of 2013, and this was after October, it had to have been, because that we were still in constant contact at that point. But I sent her a message. Well, I would talk to her, and I wouldn't get a lot of response back. And so I sent a message once that was an actual, like, a direct question requiring a response. And I didn't get a response back. And I would say things, I would text things to her and she wouldn't respond, and like all this other stuff, or wouldn't respond until days later. And I decided to do a test where I would send a question or send something that would have been, like, you know, geared toward, you know, kickstarting a response. And she didn't text me all day. And I don't even think she texted me the next day. But anyway, she had a new friend that she made. I don't know if it was over Twitter or if she met her at a concert, and then they became friends with each other over Twitter. I don't know. But she made friends with her, and she was going to come visit her. Well, her friend was going to come to visit her over winter break. And so I knew that, because how could I not? Because it was everywhere. And I didn't need her to constantly communicate with me, and I'm pointing that out because of something else that'll be relevant a little bit later. I didn't need constant communication, but a response once in a while would have been nice. Like, even when I'm hanging out with friends and like other people text me, I tend to give them a response. Either continue a conversation if the friend and I are just hanging out, not really doing anything, just kind of doing separate things together, or if I was doing actually something with them, I would let them know I was busy, and then I would be able to, you know, talk to them later. But, you know, regardless. But, after I was talking to another close fandom friend, that I met through, you know, her own fan page and then from the group, and she's still one of my current best friends, I asked her about whether I should confront the issue with a picture of a quote I found that I felt related, and she agreed, and she read over the statement I was going to put with it. And she said to send it, and she's like, no matter what happens, she was there for me, and so I posted it.
Please ignore the Bobby sounds that just happened. Mm-hmm. Adorable kid, but like...
So after I posted it, she replied with a very long comment. Like, on Facebook, it was about this long. Very long comment. I don't have a picture of that, but replied with a very long comment about how she didn't agree with what I felt and what I thought.
I'm turning this into a mukbang. I'm sorry.
So she didn't agree with how, with my perception, which you cannot not agree with someone's like perspective, but it's hard to say that they're not feeling what they're feeling, essentially, and that I probably have clinical depression. Yeah, I was diagnosed with depression when I was in 8th grade. That's something that happened to me. But one thing I'm going to say is, and I think she's probably said this before, nobody has any right to speak on your mental health or diagnose you with anything but your doctor or your therapist.
I said that in the military advice video because when he was saying that I needed to be on medication for my depression, I said he was not a doctor. He did not have any right to say that, and this is the same situation. It doesn't matter if you're friends or you're dating or what have you. Nobody has the right to tell you, not even your own parents. The only person who has the right to tell you that is a psychologist or a doctor or a therapist that is seeing you constantly, maybe even your school nurse. They're the only people that can speak on that, or a social worker. Other people cannot speak on that. I meant a social worker in schools, not a I don't know if the other social workers can, but I know the ones in schools know how brain development works, so they can also.
So, needless to say, while I was already feeling slightly depressed because of that and college, I felt even worse. And then, not long after that, she sent me a message on Facebook going even further into why she was upset. It was about this long. I had to screenshot it into 4 separate screenshots because it was so long. And this was on a computer. This was before phones could screenshot things for you. And so it's very long. It's very degrading. It's very attack-based. It's very critical and very me, kind of.
And we will be putting those 4 in here after she finishes her story, because I'm going to dive into those after she finishes the story and talk about some certain lines in there that I would be able to give advice on. It kind of reminds me of the Terry situation a little bit, to give you a little bit of a preview to that.
So basically, that she sent the message about why she was upset with what I put up, and effectively ended our friendship, and that was fun. So I hit a very low depressive point then, and that kind of led into, that was the beginning of 2014. The very, very beginning of 2014, it was like in January. And I remember because I was on winter break from college, which lasted about a month. So Kayla hung out with me and I watched Pretty Little Liars with her. My friend Jackie, who I'd made literally, like maybe the semester, the year before, literally came over all the time, hung out with me all the time. We played games, we watched movies, we watched TV shows, we just laughed at each other. Literally, we just, she helped a lot at that point. But, and it even led into the beginning of 2015, which was my senior year of college and, my worst year, because I had so much going on with, mentally, emotionally, schoolwork in general. And I had my very first Jesse McCartney concert in 2014 in August, and he is my favorite artist that has ever existed in the world. And I even wasn't up to my full emotional capacity going to that show. Even that didn't bring me up to full emotional, happiness. Which is a lot. And so, I sent her a Christmas present after all of this, because I had already spent money and time on it, and I felt that it, should be given. Also, the thing I bought her, I already had. So it wouldn't have made any sense for me to keep it. So I sent her a message when I shipped it to her to let her know that it was coming. And I bought a book set for her. And I told her that if she didn't want to keep it after everything that happened, because, bad vibes, bad memories, whatever, she could, get rid of them. She didn't have to feel like she had to keep them. She didn't need to feel like she had she had to keep them just because I bought them for her and paid for them or whatever. I was like, she could keep them. She could donate them. She could give them to a friend if a friend wanted them. She could resell them, return them to the store that I got them from, whatever. I got it from Target, so she could literally go to a Target and return them, whatever. And all the other stuff. And then I made a joke, and that didn't quite land as well as I expected it to. And so then she sent another negative response to that, which was fun. And then when she finally got it, she ended up sending me a positive message thanking me for it, and that she loved, the cookies and, some other stuff and everything. And that's the last form of contact we've ever had. Ended on a high note. And so we haven't talked since. I thought she was good. She was at the Five Sauce concert I went to in 2015, and that was a moment. But other than that, we haven't spoken to each other since. She's unfriended me on Facebook, on the account that she actually uses the most. There's still one account that she doesn't use anymore because it was mainly a family account for her family to follow. And she's unfollowed me on Twitter and Instagram, and we didn't even really get Snapchat together to begin with because that was the dawn of Snapchat.
She didn't unfollow you first because she was posting indirects about you.
Well, no, she did unfollow me. I didn't unfollow her. I never felt the need to unfollow her. I was like, if you want to block me, block me. If you want to unfollow me because you're the one who made a big deal out of this. I was just expressing how I felt about our situation because I felt like I was being ignored. So I felt that I would do what you do in friendships and relationships, and if you have a problem, communicate so you can try to find a solution to the problem. So I was trying to communicate effectively that I felt like I was being ignored in this friendship, not necessarily in the time frame that she interpreted it as, but as over time. I felt like I was being ignored. I felt like she wasn't respecting me because she wouldn't answer questions that I had or answer messages that I had, and I felt that, it was not respectful, so I felt like I wasn't being respected, which is why I decided to say something, and I said something and got attacked for it instead, which now gives me lasting issues where I don't want to bring up any problems.
I was gonna look at where she is now type of thing. She's private on Instagram, but her boyfriend, who is in her bio, is not, and almost every single one of her pictures is just him and her.
I follow her. Because I followed her before and never saw a
I don't know why, but when guys do that, it just makes me uncomfortable. I don't know why. That's just a me thing. It might just be a me thing. I just don't. I'm not gonna say what, because what I'm gonna say is gonna come out rude, and I don't mean it rude. Maybe it's because I've dated somebody that was obsessed with me, but we're not gonna talk about that anyway. To get to the point, I didn't have much written down because I told you, I'm gonna burp. Never mind. I told you that the letter was the main thing I wanted to focus on, which I probably already put them in at the end of her story because I don't feel like saying I'm going to because I already did earlier. And so the one thing I did write down that's not in the letter really is a new friend. You can make new friends and have it not be a problem. This girl is just... Okay, I feel bad for saying this, and people say I shouldn't say this, but this girl's just a mess. Like, honestly, I'm not gonna pull out the Quentin. I don't know what her values are, but when friendship comes involved, I really don't know where her values sit because it didn't seem like she really valued many of the friendships that she held from what I saw. Obviously at a young age, I didn't understand the full extent of a friendship online because I still went to school where I would see my friends daily. So I didn't understand, like, oh, well, friends over the internet. I didn't have any social media, really. So I didn't really, understand that.
From my perspective, you can cut this out, but from my perspective, she valued every single friendship of mine.
No, I'm keeping everything in.
So
I do blur out her name and picture because Kelly told me to, even though I didn't want to.
And that's why I haven't said her name.
And, I'm just gonna, before I start this letter, she a bitch, and I'm gonna show you exactly why. So I'm not gonna read the whole thing because that's triggering, and I don't agree with anything that she says. But we are going to go, like I did with Terry, the most important parts. But Terry's message was so short that, like, there wasn't really anything to talk about there. So, okay, so when she said, when you knew I was busy and having friends over, to me, you should have been happy for me because you know about my struggles and getting ignored by people. Just because somebody knew you had friends over, you're saying you should have been happy for me. Nobody has to be happy for you.
Also, I don't think I ever explicitly said I wasn't happy for her.
And, like,
I don't think I did.
I'm pretty sure she was happy for you, but everybody goes through stuff sometimes. And I feel like maybe if your friend was going through stuff at the time that you had friends over, then maybe you shouldn't be saying you should have been happy. Like, obviously, nobody knows unless you're going to explicitly say that you were going through something. But for her just saying, you should have been happy for me, it just sounds like a bitch thing to say, first of all. Like, that just sounds so, like, catty and, like, bitchy. Because instead of thinking about me, you were selfish and thought of only yourself and your feelings. I'm going to stop right there for right now. With thoughts and feelings, everybody has to work on their own self. Self-care is a big thing. Everybody has to work on their self before they can go and, like, try to make you feel better or whatever you're looking for. You know that thing where people say you have to learn to love yourself before you can be in a relationship? It's the same type of thing. You have to try to help yourself before you help other people. And I feel like she didn't even put that into account. She didn't even think about, oh, maybe this person's trying to self-care and be their better self and, like, make their mental health better. I don't think that even occurred to her, that that was a thing that, like, this person needed to do. And it makes me so mad that people don't know that self-care is also for mental health, not just for physical, but it's also for your mental and emotional well-being. I'm out of breath. I haven't breathed. But it just makes me so mad. But basically, the advice is what I'm telling you, is, like, focus on yourself. Don't let anybody else tell you what you should have been doing or, like, tell you that you're selfish for focusing on yourself, because you need to this wasn't a selfish situation. If you have things going on and you're focusing on yourself to make yourself feel better, that's not a selfish situation. A selfish situation, I can't speak. A selfish situation is when somebody's telling you about their problems and you said you would help and then making it all about yourself. That's selfish. But trying to focus on yourself before they were even brought up is not selfish. And she said, your feelings, which were completely invalid, by the way, I'm going to tell you straight up. Your feelings are not invalid. It doesn't matter what you feel. They're not invalid. It doesn't matter what's going on. You're not invalid in your feelings. Feelings are not right or wrong. They're valid. It matters how you feel. However you... What has happened?
Well, I was
However,
that as my moment, as where I found that quote out.
However you feel is valid. It doesn't matter.
I learned it in
like,
college.
If you're sad, be sad. If you're mad, be mad. If you're happy, be happy. Like,
it was like serendipitous. I heard that quote, like, literally, like, the semester after that happened. And it was life-changing.
And so nobody can tell you your feelings aren't valid.
It's my mantra for life.
And she's also a bitch for saying that. Count how many... Take a shot every time I call her a bitch, apparently. Our friendship was still alive. And well up until that point, but you just killed it. I think she more killed the relationship than Kelly did. Because as you'll see farther in this... She talks about, I don't want constant negativity. I'm like, girl, you're bringing the constant negativity. If you don't want it, then stop bringing it. and I was still your friend, and I still cared about you, and you falsely accused me of not caring when I showed no signs of that whatsoever. You did. When somebody, when you, okay, the way to make a human, I can't even speak, the way to make a human being feel like you don't care about them is by looking at the messages and not answering. Like, that's a clear indication.
Ghosting before ghosting existed.
Yeah, exactly. That's a clear indication. So if you wanted this person to know that you cared about them, maybe you shouldn't have done that.
And I agree. I don't remember what I wrote on the caption to the thing. I don't, accurately remember what I wrote, but I do. I mean, I could have worded things better. And I might have said, I don't remember, but I might have said that it felt like, or I felt like, she didn't care because she wasn't responding to things. But I don't.
And she said, it's like you couldn't stand for me to be happy. We already talked about that. We don't need to go back to that.
That's not what I'm
Which
trying to
is
do.
blank and mean in its own right. She used the R word, which is R and mean in its own right. For somebody whose mother had dementia, and to use that word, that's disrespectful. That's distasteful. You have no class. I honestly don't care who this girl is or who she thought she was or what she thought she was doing. She was bringing no good into the world. And using that was just distasteful, rude, and no class. Again, take a shot, because I'm about to say, she a bitch. Let's keep going. I'm always happy for you, whether I'm the one making you happy or it's someone else's doing. What I would hear from her when they would talk, it never sounded like she was happy that she was happy. You know, that she was happy that Kelly was happy. It never sounded like that. And I was in middle school and I was smart enough to grasp this stuff. Like, come on. It appears everybody wanting to be happy didn't go both ways in the friendship. Because you didn't do... See, friendships, relationships, what have you, takes work. You need to work with each other. Apparently I'm doing it wrong because I'm single. You need to work with each other. She was making her happy and doing all this stuff. And yeah, okay, this girl may have made her happy sometimes, but like not a lot of the time. And from what I was seeing, it didn't look like this girl was even trying to make her happy at the time. Maybe I wasn't there for that, but it just didn't seem like it was a good situation from where I was standing. I gave you a second chance last February when you Skyped blank and ignored me when you knew we had plans to Skype. I let it go because I still want our friendship, and maybe there was a part of me that thought, well, maybe she did forget. Here's what I want to say.
Let me jump in, because I've got context for that story. So basically, we had made plans, and she had something to do before that. I think it was like homework. So I said to her, okay, you do your homework, and when you're done, let me know. And I'll sign on, and we can Skype. Every time I Skype someone, I say, let me know, call me, or tell me that you want me to call you. You need to indicate to me that you're ready, because I don't want to call when you're out of the room. I don't want to call when you're doing something and you're not ready. I don't want to call and have I just don't want to call unless you're ready to talk. So I got roped into a conversation that was already happening between two people on another video app. They had already been talking. They brought me in for who knows what reason. And I was waiting for her to tell me she was ready. If she had said to me, oh, okay, I'm ready to talk, I would have left that conversation, gotten on Skype, and had the conversation we were planning to have with her. I was wondering that whole day why she hadn't said anything. I was wondering that night. I was like, why hasn't she said something? Aren't we going to Skype together? Like, why isn't she let me know that she was ready. Did she forget? Did she get too busy? Whatever. I was wondering why she never said anything.
Here's the funny thing. And even if Kelly did happen to forget by accident that, like, all that stuff, you don't base a second... If somebody forgets, then that can be water under the bridge, and you can work on, well, let's write reminders or something. But for you to just think, maybe she forgot, and then going, but you know what, they only happen once and only once. And I'm like, I gave second chances more times than I can count. So I had to start a 3 strikes and you're out system for myself. So with her saying that, it just made me very pissed off. Because it just seemed like she was just blowing it off. And I'm like, okay. If I continue to be your friend, what would that say about me? That I'm a pushover? Here's the thing. It wouldn't say you're a pushover. It would say that you're trying to work at a friendship. Again, friendships are things that you have to work at. And it's like, I would completely disregard my feelings and happiness just because you had a fleeting moment of being forgotten. I'm like, that's just... I don't even need to talk about that. Because that's just rude as hell. And that's fucking disrespectful. And... She doesn't want to hurt people's feelings, even though that's exactly what you're doing. All I know is the facts. This is funny to me. The facts state that I have been nothing but a good, caring friend to you, and this is what I get in return. Bitch, where? Bitch, how? Bitch, why? You just took 3 shots in a row. I know. Calm yourself. Where? Where did it show that she was not a good, caring friend? And where did it show that you were? Bitch, please. I'm sorry. I keep making you take shots. Tori's probably like, stop. Like, bitch, please. Why? Like, why? Why? I don't understand where you were a good, caring friend. Even when I was there when things were good, I didn't like you. I'm sorry if you're seeing this. I never liked you. I was able to pretend that I liked you, but I never really did. That'll probably be a shock to some people that knew this person and knew me back then. Hi, I was still vicious. You've never gone out of your way for me. Oh, so somebody going out of their way for you isn't sending you a Christmas present when they had already gotten things for you, like still deciding to send you those things. That's not somebody going out of their way to do something for you. Wow.
I haven't sent those yet.
But it doesn't matter. It's like...
I've done other things.
You've told me I'm important and that you love me, but actions speak louder than words, and I realize you weren't a true friend. I'm paraphrasing. Basically, actions do speak louder than words, but when you are online, how are you gonna show an action? There's not much you can do. You have to believe those person's words. I can't put my feelings into words, so I use actions. But I can guarantee that if you said your friendship was this close, if somebody said something to you, you'd be able to have enough trust to believe it. That's
I wrote
what,
things
that's
and
in
made
my
videos
thought.
for her.
Yeah, exactly. Is that not? You made me feel bad when it wasn't even my fault and you lost a really good friend over it. Bitch, stop calling yourself a good friend. You were nothing but a waste of time. And also, like, when you said, it wasn't even your fault. It was your fault. You're the one who started with this negativity and this attacking. It's your fault when things like this happen. Because the people that start with the negative and attacking, they can't play victim. She's like Demi Lovato. She's playing the victim when she's not the victim. You can't play victim when you started this. Offer something you felt for a week. A week. Are you kidding me? Okay, I hate that because literally... I know. When she said, oh, I felt this for... Like, you felt this for a week. I felt this longer. Bitch, I don't care. Listen, I don't care how long you felt something. No matter what you're feeling, again, it's valid. You could feel something for a long time. You could feel something for a little amount of time. But anyone who's going to tell you that what they're feeling is more important than yours because it's been going on longer, drop them like a hot potato. They're honestly like trash human beings and should not be taken out. But if you want to put them in a trash can, that's fine too. Should have done that with Apricot. Let's see. This is funny. I need to move on from this and be free of stupidly reasoned negativity. Which you brought the stupidly reasoned negativity. I need to be free of you and forgive you. What, are we trapping you here and you can't be free? I said, so yeah, Kelly did not capitalize. Kelly, that's rude and distasteful. I forgive you, but I don't want to be your friend anymore. Okay, nobody said you had to. And like, it's just, I'm done, it's over. It sounds like you're breaking up. Like, I'm done, it's over. It's not you, it's me. Well, it was her. You prove who's most important to you, and that's yourself. I'm gonna tell you straight up. Kelly and I put everybody else before ourselves. That is not a true statement that you would find in any, like, the two of us. I made this whole channel to put others before myself, honestly now.
On the rare occasions where I put myself before other people, the situations don't end up working out real well for me. So...
And I'm sorry, but I can't come before your feelings that aren't even valid. We already talked about that. We don't need to go back to that again. I can't be friends with you, okay? If this is what you wanted, then congratulations, you've won. Saying you've won, you just made it a challenge yourself at that point.
If I wanted to end the friendship, I would have said that. Yeah. If I wanted us not to be friends anymore, I would have said that. I would have been like, I'm upset because this, and this, and I don't think we should be friends anymore. Not, here's a problem that here's something that I feel about our friendship, let's talk about it.
Here is another funny thing. This is after she said she sent the thing. Thanks, I guess. It doesn't matter. Then why'd you bother sending it? Because it was a present. You do what you want. I'm not sure about how to go about being grateful for something that you're like, whatever with. You didn't have to send it. She wants to say she appreciates the effort, but when you act like that, I can't say I do. You should just say you appreciate the effort and move on, even if you don't. Just say it. You said you weren't trying to spread negativity. This is more negativity. See what I mean by she starts the negativity? This is what I mean. Things happen over here. I don't hate you. Could have fooled me. I just can't be friends with you, but can't we at least act civil towards each other? If not, then I guess I really don't know you at all. Here's what I'm going to say. She was acting civil towards you. You were the one being not civil. Basically, with all that, with all this bitch and everything, what I want to say is, the advice is, if a person sends you a long message like what I just went through and all that stuff, that's just unnecessary. That's just toxic. You're gonna drop that person, you could be like, okay. Like, it might hurt you in the moment, but you gotta pretend to be the strong one, and you gotta be like, okay, fine, bye. Just say, okay, fine, bye. And then what you want to do, because this is what everybody should do when you have a problem with somebody, block their ass. Block them on everything. That way you don't have to see what they're doing. They're not going to see what you're doing. And you can work on rebuilding yourself with friends that have always been there. Okay? You can block that ass. Don't pay attention to it. On Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, GroupMe, or what have you. Just block it. WhatsApp, that's what I meant. Just block it on everything, because you don't want to see what these people are saying about you. And It just makes me mad. It really does. Like, it makes me mad because this person had the audacity to be this rude. Like, that just makes me mad. It's probably making Tori mad. But there any last words that you want to say to this person? Like I did at the end of my videos.
I have better friends. I have friends who actually care about me. I have friends who ask what I want to do. I have friends who talk to me every day. I have friends who actually care about my well-being. And when I have a problem or feeling slighted in a certain way, I talk to them. And we have a conversation. And we work it out. And we fix it. I don't get attacked for speaking my mind. I hope you found peace somewhere with your own friends and your own life at some point. That's about it.
I think I'd be a little obsessed with you. Anyway, she says that, where I just say, I don't care how your life's going. I don't care about you, and I don't care about anything that you're gonna do. So yeah, if you happen to see this video and you want to attack me, come at me, because you're going to get blocked, hon, from the whole channel. Because I don't tolerate negativity here. Anyway, so also if you're one of my bullies watching this, fuck you. Anyway, so hope the rest of you guys who actually clicked on this video because you like me are doing great. And I hope you all have a happy June Pride Month if you fit into that community. My birthday's coming up. It's going to be a week from tomorrow. Yeah. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.